What's going on, YouTube? Got another knife review here for you. This is of the Three Sisters Forge CCT, otherwise known as the Credit Card Tactical. Supposedly a knife that Jim Allen at Three Sisters Forge modeled after a credit card. Here you have a business card, which is very similar size to a credit card. Credit cards are a little bit wider, a little bit higher this way. So you can see how it compares against that size. And then here you have, against the Zippo lighter. Obviously different thickness. I guess with the pocket clip it's similar. It's a little bit longer than a Zippo lighter. So you get kind of a feel for the size of the CCT. So from the handle to the tip here is 1.75 inches. And then overall length I believe is around 4 or so inches. It's got a, obviously it's made out of, titanium. I believe 6AL4V titanium. On the other side you do have this water jet pattern, which is something that Three Sisters Forge is known for. Very just cool patterning, CNC machined and all that kind of stuff. This model I believe is an older generation of the CCT. I was looking at Cutlery Lover's review on his CCT, and they look very similar. The one telling feature is the fact that the Jim Allen's Three Sisters Forge icon is on this side, the lock side of the blade, versus on the newer ones I believe right here. And the reason why that's a distinction is because the newer offerings from Jim are I believe made out of S35VN or CPM 154. The older generations, I believe, are made from 440C stainless. So the reason I bring that up is because the current generation of Boker SubComs, which is a knife that this is probably most compared to, also has 440C steel, and they do offer a titanium handled subcom as well. And whether or not it's worth the price of $200 for a CCT versus a subcom, and I've seen some reviews out there on YouTube where they make a comparison between the CCT and the subcom, and there's some pretty good points made in there. I'm not gonna reiterate them here, but obviously you're comparing a US custom-made knife, that's made by one person at TSF versus a mass-produced Chinese-made knife in the Boker Plus. And I'm not knocking the subcom, because I know a lot of people love their subcoms, but as I looked, I saw one at a shop, and I've seen them in the videos and all that kind of stuff, and normally I wouldn't go for a knife this small, but this knife, with its ergonomics, with these curves, with these finger cutouts, compared to the subcom, looks like it would make for a really great knife. And after having this one in my hands, I've never handled a subcom, but after handling this one, I can really see why someone would really enjoy having a small knife like this, because this is a very useful and very comfortable, very ergonomic knife to own. Compared to these are my other small knives here, the Martin Small Tejas and the Spyderco Dragonfly G10. These two knives I think are awesome knives, and the grip on this jimping here, a very thin blade. I think this is a 0.1 inch blade, which is the same as the liners on this titanium. But I feel like I love this knife, but when I hold it this way, I feel like I'm just pinching it. The only security I have, in holding this knife is just by pinching it here, and the rest of the grip is kind of like, in the cavity of my fist. And unless I'm gripping it super tight, I feel like it kind of rotates a lot like this. And so whether or not it's secure enough, this blade is crazy sharp, and it's going to slice through most anything. But so whether or not I really have to have a secure grip or whatever, and then you can put your thumb up here, and it's still comfortable, and I can maneuver the blade pretty easily with my thumb. But because the handle is so thin, I just feel like it's not completely just sitting in my in my hand too well. The same can be said for this Martin. This blade shape is very different too. It's very straight this way, and it just feels like a very different kind of cutting. It just feels a lot different. It's not very comfortable this way. Holding this handle, it's thicker than the Dragonfly, and it's thicker than the CCT. But again, it's just because it's so thin this way, it doesn't feel like it fills up my hand. Maybe I'm just so used to having larger knives in my hand, like even this beast here, it fills my hand perfectly, and I feel like I can. Obviously, the cutting purposes and all that kind of stuff, EDC purposes, are different than these smaller knives, but it fills my hand up so nicely that I feel like I have good purchase on everything, and it serves its purpose well. Oh, jeez. But the CCT here is a knife that is so comfortable. It fills up the hand, even though it's very thin profile. I mean, you can see how thin these liners are, and I brought up my Emerson right here so you can kind of see. The same thickness. This is a liner lock on the Emerson, and it's a titanium liner, and I believe it's 0.1 inch thick. So these titanium scales are 0.1 inch, and that's a frame lock, and you have that little cutout right here, right there. So the strength of the titanium liner. I mean, I don't know. With a knife so small, whether or not it's necessary to have a super strong frame lock. But again, as a frame lock, when you're gripping it, your lock's not going to go anywhere. If anything, it's going to go in that way. But the fact that it's wider like this is actually wider than the Beast here. It's wider than my Sebenza. So it fills up the hand so well. And the way that this swedge here is angled down, the thumb just sits perfectly. The Martin, my thumb would be like this. With this one, it fits perfectly, and I can just draw down into whatever kind of cuts, and really push cut, and it's so comfortable in the hand. So this makes for a great EDC blade, or even a secondary blade. I've been carrying around my 560 here from Zero Tolerance. Obviously a much bigger blade. I've been carrying my Hinderer as well. And this blade, as a secondary blade, works perfectly. For whatever emergency cuts, or cutting thread, or cutting rope. I don't know about rope, but paper and all that kind of stuff. This works really well. Just as a joke, I pulled out this, my Friedmeier K2 here, 4.6 inches of S90V. Very, very obviously different usages. I was saying in my review of this one, I probably wouldn't carry this as an EDC, but they both cut. Whatever. I don't even know if that really served any purpose in bringing that out there, other than just kind of joking around with the size of those blades. But again, overall, the CCT I think is an awesome secondary, if not even primary, EDC blade. It's a beautiful knife with the water jet patterning, and yeah. So just to give you like the presentation side of these knives, they're really. Three Sisters Forge, I believe, is a really great, small company out in Oregon, owned by Jim Allen, operated by Jim Allen. He does everything there. So it's just a great company. He's got these three knives. The CCT, which is his highest selling knife, I believe, or most popular knife. He's got the Beast, and then he's got a larger model of the Beast called the Super Beast, which is a 4-inch model. So that's one that I would be wanting to get my hands on eventually. So anyway, yeah, I think the CCT is a cool blade to have. Whether it's worth the $200, I mean, I don't know, but again, you're getting what you pay for. Absolutely no blade play in this. Very solid, very strong knife. Whether the SubCom is the same way, again, I haven't handled one, so I'm not sure, but I know Boker Plus has a reputation of, you know, breaking down or fit and finish issues and all that kind of stuff. And you'd probably, you know, wouldn't be surprised to expect that from a Chinese-made knife, which I'll review in this little Kershaw RJ1 in another review. So anyway, that's the Three Sisters Forge Credit Card Tactical. You know, I wouldn't really consider this a tactical blade, but it is a knife, and in emergency usage, of course it makes sense. It's not going to have a wave feature like Emerson where it whips out of your pocket and you're ready to go immediately, but yeah, it is what it is. I think it's a great knife made by Jim Allen, so check it out. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Alright, thanks guys. Bye.